Are you struggling to make your first 100K or next? Are you pretending you're successful but barely getting by? Are you tired of comparing yourself to millionaires and billionaires who make it look so easy? Welcome to First 100K, the #1 entrepreneur voice in America. I talk about the important things that no one else is talking about, like how to make your first $100,000, because I believe this is where 90% of entrepreneurs get stuck. And I tackle the mental game of entrepreneurship that we all secretly struggle with but won't admit. My guests are successful entrepreneurs who share their mistakes, their #1 fears, their daily habits, and their superpowers that push them over the 100K mark. I'm your host, your coach, your friend, Joseph Warren. I'm also a 10-time failed entrepreneur and the owner of 2 co-working spaces here in Tampa, Florida. This show was created for you, the entrepreneur who's pushing to break through the elusive 100K milestone. Wherever you are in your business, you're just 100K away. Do you wish growing a business was easier? Are you feeling frustrated that it's taking so long to make your first 100K? I used to feel the same way until I discovered the one thing that was missing. It wasn't more marketing tips or strategies. It wasn't reading more business books, and it wasn't learning more stuff. I could show you what's holding you back and blocking your success if you like. Typical side effects include higher income, peace of mind, loving relationships, real connection with God, freedom from addictions, purpose, fulfillment, and a brand new lifestyle. It all starts by scheduling a spiritual clarity call with me to get clarity on what you want right now in your life and to see if we want to work together. Visit josephwarren.net/possibilities to learn more. That's josephwarren.net/possibilities. Startup Nation, today I wanted to talk about something a little different, a little edgy, a little off, a little out there, a little confronting. And it's about your spiritual life and your business life and how to integrate the two so that, as you've heard me say, you could stop showing up bipolar in your life as a bipolar believer. And this is for mostly the show. This episode's going to be for you, especially if you are a Christian business owner or CEO. However, if you're not a Christian business owner or CEO, you'll see by the very end, this is also for you. But I'm going to ask you to be adventurous, to go out on a limb a little bit and not make it wrong if I mention God or if I mention spiritual things, but to really just stay open and hear me out. And then by the end of this show, and it will be a very short show, probably like 10 minutes or so, if in the next 10 minutes you think I'm totally wrong and it's not for you, that's fine. Totally fine. I won't get offended. You can even write a nasty review about me if you like. But I know you won't because you're a good person. So I titled this show, How to Become a Grandmaster in Your Business Without Stealing Time from God, your spouse, or your kids. Because this is what we're all struggling with, right? As business owners, we are trying to succeed in business. We're building the business. We're going for growth in our business, growth in our profits, growth in our income. However, to put in that extra time and hustle needed to do those things, we have to steal that time away from the people we love most. So we steal time away from our spouse, and we steal time away from our kids. And, if you're a spiritual person, you're stealing time away from God. You're stealing time away from your Creator as well. And I really want to get into, is it working? And what are the consequences of doing this? Is this a long-term strategy, or are you headed for disaster and you don't even see it coming? So let me start by saying this. let's define a grand master, because I use that term grand master. So a grand master is someone who has achieved the highest position possible in their designated field of expertise. Okay, so if you're in chess, you've heard the term grandmaster, right? So that's like the top of the top of the top in chess. If you're, in sports, if you're an NFL player, for example, one could call you the grandmaster if you're the top of the top. If you're an NBA player, you're in the highest position possible in your field of expertise. Maybe you're a doctor who oversees other doctors, and you're the grand master in your medical field. Whatever industry you're in, you're obviously successful and well respected in your industry. And most likely you've already become a grand master in your business life. For that, I salute you. I say congratulations. But what about in your spiritual life? How are you doing with that? Have you put in the same amount of time and effort needed to master the area of your life that matters most? That's my big question. Like, I get it. You're winning a business. You're making the money. You're doing fantastic. But you know deep down in your heart of hearts that the money doesn't really matter. It's not going to bring you true happiness. It's not going to fulfill you, light you up. It's what you can do with the money. And when you really narrow it down, it's who you can spend the money with. And that's the people you love most. But those are the people you're stealing time away from right now to make the money. So let's role play for a second. Maybe you're saying, come on, Joseph, is my spiritual life really what matters most? Isn't providing a good lifestyle for my family and paying my taxes more important? Well, let's ask the most influential person in all of human history, Jesus Christ. That's right, I said his name. Whether you're Christian or not doesn't matter. You can't deny that Jesus is the grand master of all grand masters. How do I know? How do you know? Because he's the most influential person in all of human history. No one else has more influence on human history than Jesus. So that's clear. So let's ask Jesus. Jesus clears his throat and answers, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Mic drop. Well, there you have it. In case you miss it, let me paraphrase what Jesus is saying to you and to I. Jesus is saying, if you make growing in holiness your first priority, your family second, and making money third, he'll give you all three. Let me say that again. Jesus is saying, if you make growing in holiness, right, in pursuing him, your first number one priority, and then you make your family your second priority, and then you make growing your business and making all the money and the millions and billions your third, he will give you all three. This is undoubtedly the best business deal in the universe. Now, does that mean don't get up and go to work tomorrow? Of course not. But it does mean that before you get up and go to work tomorrow, spend some time with God in silence, listening to his plan for your life. Now, maybe you come back at me and you say, so Joseph, what I'm hearing you say is that if I keep making my business my number one priority, it's not wrong, but I'm on my own. Is that correct? Yep. And you'll be stealing time from God, your spouse, and your kids. And we both know that won't work long term. So listen, the stress and the worry that you'll have from trying to control the results and outcomes all on your own will eventually build up and make you act out in your life. And maybe you know what I mean by act out. I've done it before, right? That may look like you developing harmful habits. Maybe it's costly addictions, or maybe it's losing everything, losing your fortune. That happened to me personally. I lost my millions. Okay, so you reply and you say, got it. And if I give God adequate time, Joseph, before work, then not only will he give me spiritual overflow in my life, but he'll also grow my business and provide for all my family's financial needs. Yep, you're right again. Now, you still have to show up and do the work in your business, but everything will be easier because God will open up the right doors that are aligned with His will and His timing for your life. You'll get a powerful and profound shift in the way you show up in your life. Does that make sense? You answered yes. What should I do next? Well, here's my advice. I say use the surrender principle. Now, maybe you've heard me say this before on this show. Maybe you've heard me say it on my Broken Catholic podcast. But what's the surrender principle, you ask? Well, here's the deal. The number one reason why we feel stuck, tired, or frustrated in one or more areas of our lives is because we're holding on to something in that area and we're not surrendering it to God. It could be that you're holding on to hurts from your past, or you're worried about your business in the future, or you're struggling in your marriage. Whatever it is, you haven't surrendered it to God yet. You're trying to control it. You're trying to fix it. If you don't surrender it up to God, it's going to eat away at you and destroy your life. I've seen it time and time again. Again, the worry and the stress is going to build up. And it's going to hit such a critical mass that eventually it's going to cause you to act out in your life in very destructive ways. This acting out is going to result in costly addictions, poor judgment, harmful habits. You're going to end up hurting your spouse, your kids, and yourself. So the solution is to stop trying to control things outside your control. You have to give up. You have to finally surrender to the only one who can help you. Let me just grab a drink there. Okay. Now, maybe you respond and you push back and you say, Joseph, I don't believe in God. Will the surrender principle work for me? Yes, of course it's going to work for you. Listen, I'm not here to sell you on religion. I'm here to sell you on surrender. If surrendering your control to the universe, to Buddha, to Mohammed, to your favorite cosmic energy brings you happiness, peace, and joy, that's fine with me. Like, have at it, right? However, in my experience, true peace, true happiness, the kind that doesn't fade in the midst of, the storms of life, only comes from complete surrender and total trust in the creator of the entire universe, the one who created you, namely God. Here's my takeaway for you. Start by asking yourself these two questions. Ask yourself, what am I struggling with right now? What am I struggling with right now? Ask yourself that. The second question, what do I want in my life right now? What do I want in my life right now? I know maybe you're at a place right now where you've never asked that question in quite a long time or ever before. But until you get clear on what you actually want, you can't hit the target because you don't have a target. And until you get clear on what you're struggling with and admit that you have a problem, you don't know where you're at. So you don't know how to minimize the gap between where you're at, what you're struggling with, and where you're going, the destination, or what you want in your life. When you get clear on both of those, then it becomes so much easier. Now, after you ask yourself those two questions, I want you to do something big, bold, and courageous. I want you to be brave. And I want you to reach out to me, and I want you to schedule a spiritual clarity call with me, one-on-one, you and I on a video chat. I'm going to give you direct access to me. You and I are going to talk. Other listeners have done it. They've reached out to me. They jumped on the call and they're like, I can't believe it's you. I can't believe you're actually showing up like on a call with me. You're just Joseph Warren, the podcaster guy. I listen to your show. I'm addicted to it. I didn't know I could actually get you like one-on-one, some FaceTime. This is what I'm offering to you. I'm not charging you for it. And we're going to set two intentions for that call. We're going to get you clarity on what you're holding on to right now that's blocking you from getting the blessings God wants to give you in your business, in your finances, in your income, in your marriage, in your relationships. in your spiritual growth. And number two, we're going to see if we want to work together. And if by the end of the call, you're like, Joseph, thank you so much. That was awesome. The clarity, I had a major breakthrough. I now see the blind spot. I'm going to go to work on that, but I really don't think we're fit for coaching. That's totally fine. We'll get clear about that. No big deal. If, however, you're like many of my clients and you go, oh my gosh, that was huge. That was amazing. But I need help executing these things in my life and making these shifts and changes. And I want to have a powerful and profound shift in my life. Then just let me know that and I'll show you how to get started, and we'll work together, right? And you'll get to work one-on-one with me. So the next step is to go to josephwarren.net. Click on schedule call with Joseph or clarity call. And that's at josephwarren.net. So that's my invitation to you. I hope you're brave in your life, and I hope that you're going to take the action. And know that nothing's going to change if you don't change the action that you take, right? So take a different action. Maybe you're, a dude and you don't like the word surrender, and you don't want to get vulnerable. You don't want to get real. You don't want to put your stuff out there. You don't want to make it public, so to speak. Let me just say this, because this is so, so important. If you're not willing to admit you have a problem and take your private problem and make it public, you're never going to have a breakthrough in it. Why? Because keeping it hidden is why the problem has power over you. Because you're not putting it out into the light. Because when you invite others into your problem, then you get accountability. And it's the power of public, making your problem public, and getting the accountability that comes with it, and being the hero, the example to others, of someone who's courageous, who's willing to take on their problem, take on their mess and put it out there, and wants the accountability because they just want to win. That's so inspiring to others. You'll become a public hero. Now, I'm not saying you have to do that on this call with me. Obviously, it will be just you and I and a private coaching container. However, I could tell you this: I may start another show, and I'm considering it right now. And I'm going to do some live coaching with anybody who wants to come on for free coaching with me. The deal is this: you have to go public with your problem, so that you can have the accountability and the breakthrough and people supporting you and encouraging you and holding you accountable, and actually get the win in your life, get the shift in your life that you're waiting for. And by the way, what's the outcome? What's the result? Why should you go public with your problem? Because on the other side of it, once you get that shift, you're going to show up completely different in your business and in your life. And when you show up powerfully and profoundly in your business, in your life, what do you think you get more of? More growth in your business, more clients, more revenue, more profits, right? You make more money. And then you got more money to spend more time with your spouse and your kids. So if you want that, reach out to me. You can message me on Facebook, message me on Instagram. You can go to the show page at josephwarren.net/first 100K and message me right there in the form and say, hey, I'm interested in getting some live coaching on your new podcast that you're thinking about starting. And I'm only going to offer this to a few people, right? And if you want free coaching, I'll give it to you. And I promise you this, you'll have a breakthrough. We'll get clear. You'll get clarity in the area, in the blind spot that's holding you back right now. All that's needed is your bravery. Now, if, however, you want to keep it private and everything like that, that's fine. You pay for that. That's the kind of coaching you pay for. And people pay me a lot of money for that private coaching. Both work. So it's up to you what you want. All right, go to josephwarren.net. I'll see you there. And let's chat next week. I'll see you next Thursday. God bless you. Startup Nation, you cannot show up authentically in your business without building faith in your business. If you want to have that conversation on the faith side of things, go check out my other podcast called Broken Catholic. On that show, I interview all different guests about why the world isn't working right now, Plus, I tackle unspeakable topics that you may secretly struggle with, but won't admit. We gotta get your faith right to get your business right. Go to brokencatholic.com. I'm Joseph Warren, and you were made for greatness. So stop being a wuss and start being a winner. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you right back here next week.